What's going on, hockey friends? We are back, and while the Stanley Cup champion has been crowned and there's a lot of talking points about that, I thought we would switch focus here on the channel from North America to the European hockey theater and travel across the continent and see who were the winners and losers and if there were any exciting stories to pick up on. And spoiler alert, the most exciting and insane one was found in the Czech Republic, and it's not their World Championship gold medal. We'll be heading over to these countries and their top divisions, and as usual there will be timestamps if any of them intrigue you more. Before we get started, I just want to say I won't be covering every minute detail of these leagues because that will make this video way too long. So if there's something I missed, leave it in the comments below and maybe we'll make some sort of follow-up video to this. Starting over in Sweden, where we saw a team make the final as the 9th seed after sweeping the regular season champs and the 2nd seed, who were also defending champions, on their way to the SHL final. Now that team is Rögle with highly rated NHL prospects Liam Bixel and Adam Engström, but unfortunately for them, they ended up short in that final against Skellefteå, with the SHL Defenseman of the Year Axel Sandin Pellikka. Now personally, I disagree with that award, but if you're a Red Wings fan, that's something you can get excited about. During the season, they signed former Toronto Maple Leaf and New Jersey Devil Andreas Johnson, and he came to play with his brother, and they played a big part in their team winning the championship. In the semi-final against Frölunda, we were treated to one of the craziest games you'll ever see. A 7-6 overtime drama where the most bizarre own goal you'll ever see was scored by former NHLer Christian Folin, and where eventually Andreas Johnson scored the OT winner in his hometown in front of the fans that used to adore him 8 years ago when he was part of a championship winning team with his hometown team. Skellefteå ended up winning the final against Rögle quite convincingly in 5 games, but the story for me was the one I alluded to at the start. The 9th seeded Rögle, who had to play a play-in round to even make the playoffs, swept the regular season winners Färjestad in the quarterfinals, and in the semi-finals they swept again the 2nd seed and defending champions Växjö. So that was crazy to me. I tip my hat to them, but I also tip my hat to Skellefteå and I give them a big congratulations. Now let's get on a boat and sail across the Baltic Sea to Finland, where we saw a coach compare his team to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we'll get to that, but the eventual champions were Tappara, winning it for a 3rd time in a row. The three-peat is complete, and that's now 20 championships if you include championships before the current Liiga was created in 1975. Regardless, Tappara had quite an easy run in the playoffs. They were never in a losing position in any series, and they closed out the final in rather easy fashion in 5 games. Former Buffalo Sabre Nicolas Baptiste was a part of this team, and he had an assist on the game-winning goal in Game 5, but the big star here was Anton Levci, the man who played 2 games for the Panthers in 22-23, and he had a 3rd period hat-trick in Game 4, and that game went to OT, where again, our old pal Nicolas Baptiste appeared and scored the OT winner. Now, who are the Toronto Maple Leafs in Finland as described by their own coach? That would be Ilves, the local rival to Tappara. Ilves have over these past seasons been a rather consistent top performing team in the regular season, just like the Leafs, but they cannot get it done in the playoffs. Now granted, Ilves have gone further and been to a few semi-finals and ended up winning, get this, because this is a thing in Finland, a bronze medal. Yes, there's a bronze medal game in Finland, a winner takes all, where they won the bronze medal back in 2022 and 2023. This year, however, they lost to, again, a 9th seed, and that was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy because their head coach and soon-to-be national team head coach Antti Pennanen had compared his team and organization to the Toronto Maple Leafs due to their 39-year-long championship drought and the pressure that's been created from that. We'll jump into our chocolate plane and fly down to Switzerland, where again we got to witness a 7-game thriller for the championship. This was the 3rd year in a row we saw Game 7 in the finals, and even though this was an exciting one, I just need to quickly mention the 2022 final where Zug ended up winning after completing the reverse sweep in the final. That was incredible. I watched that Game 7 live, and it was amazing. But we're in 2024 now, and this year the National League in Switzerland belonged to Zurich, who beat Lausanne in a grueling 7-game series. Zurich had actually swept their way to the final, sweeping both Biel and Zug when they ran into Lausanne, and they have some wonderful former NHLers on their team. It's no wonder they win when they have Dennis Malgin, Rudolf Balcers, Derek Grant and Sven Andrighetto, and they were very impactful in the playoffs. Grant, Malgin and Andrighetto topped the scoring in the playoffs, and they were a big factor why they ended up winning. There was, however, another champion coming out of Switzerland, and that was Genève Servette, who won the Champions Hockey League. Yes, we'll take a short break from the nations and instead we'll have a look at the all-encompassing European Tournament Champions Hockey League, which is a tournament the top placed teams from each nation's league is qualified for and play each other. Then we have a playoffs that are played over 2 games where the aggregate score winner progresses until we reach a winner-takes-all final, and this time around it was Genève Servette against the eventual SHL winners Skellefteå. Genève Servette were awarded home ice advantage, so they played in their home barn. The place was rocking. They actually won the Swiss League in 2023 in Game 7 as well, and I remember watching that game, and man, the atmosphere these fans create is amazing, and it ended up carrying them to a Champions Hockey League win. They ended up winning 3-2 on home ice. Now for me personally, I'm not a huge Champions Hockey League fan, but I understand the people that are, and it is a competition that brings people together, and I can see the excitement for a team from Germany or the UK getting to play against these giants in European hockey, traveling to Prague to play in a big arena, traveling to Sweden to play against some of the best players in Europe, and for the fans, that's exciting as well. Also, they introduced some new rules this season, like if you're on a power play and you score, you get to keep playing with the man advantage even if it's just a minor penalty, and if a team gets a shorthanded goal, that power play is cancelled. Now, let me know in the comments if that's something you would like to see in the NHL. Moving on to the Czech Republic, and I've been waiting for this one. This is where it gets crazy because we saw the most thrilling end to a season you could ever imagine. A Game 7 overtime in the final, and it was Třinec that ended up winning the final, but that's not the crazy part. They got there after the most insane semi-final you'll ever see. Not only did they complete the reverse sweep against Sparta Prague, but in Game 6 in that semi-final, they were losing 1-0 until the very last second.
Ještě Čenčela, teď jedna rána poslední, je to gól!
Went on to win in overtime.
Adámek a jeho Čenčela pečuje, tenhle kotouč! Třinecká nesmrtelnost trvá!
Forcing a Game 7, where they were losing in the last minute again. Tied the game in the last minute and then won that game in quadruple overtime. I mean, not only the reverse sweep, which is insane, they came back in Game 6 and Game 7 in the last minute and then won both of those games in overtime. This semi-final against Sparta Prague went to overtime 4 times. I mean, there's just so many layers to this madness. Oh, and just to add to that, they were almost reverse swept in the quarterfinals themselves. They won that Game 7 2-0. So just to recap what Třinec have done here, 3 Game 7s, 2 overtime Game 7s, and they ended up winning the championship. I'll be surprised if they have any fans after this, because me personally, I would have passed away from my heart exploding out of my chest. Now, Třinec aren't new to this. This was their 5th straight championship and 6th straight trip to the final, so it was kind of expected for them to do this. Maybe not in the fashion, but both of these feats are incredibly impressive, and I have to give a big shout out to them because I don't think I've seen anything like this at all. Also, I'd also like to give a big congratulations to the entire nation of the Czech Republic on winning the World Championships. What a year it's been for the Czechs. Bronze medal at the World Juniors, now the big one on home ice with David Pastrnak scoring the game-winning goal. It's incredible. Enjoy this one, guys. And now we're on a nice little walk over to the neighboring Slovakia, where we'll congratulate Nitra on winning the Slovakian championship. This is Simon Nemec's old team, and it was only their second ever championship, so that's great. They swept the final, they beat, and excuse my pronunciation, Spišská Nová Ves quite convincingly. In game 4 it did go to overtime, but Nitra got the win in the end. In the regular season, and this is also pretty crazy, in the regular season they were actually the 8th seed and had to play a qualifying play-in round to even make the real playoffs. They beat the number 1 seed and regular season winners Poprad in the quarterfinals, the 2nd seed, and once again, excuse my pronunciation, Michalovce in the semifinal, and then the 3rd seed Spišská Nová Ves in the finals. It's really impressive and quite incredible that they were able to go on this run, beating the 1st, 2nd and 3rd seeds in the Slovakian league. Finally, we will end our journey in Germany, where Eisbären Berlin ended up winning their 10th championship and 3rd in 4 seasons. Interestingly, they missed the playoffs last year, but this year they made the playoffs. They finished 2nd in the regular season and faced off against regular season champions Fishtown Penguins. Yep, that's their name, that's who they played in the final. Now, this is actually pretty funny. Eisbären Berlin employs someone that could maybe follow you on Twitter, and that is Zach Boychuk. He's been in Berlin for 4 seasons now and has done pretty well. This was actually a career season for him, and overall, the German DEL has some pretty sweet former NHLers in the league. Michael Dahl, Kenny Agostino, Carter Rowney, and Matt Piumpo, to name a few. So if that's your thing, the German league should be on your radar. Well guys, that concludes our trip around Europe. I really hope you enjoyed this one. This is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while now, and like I said, I can't cover everything, so leave a comment if there's something special you want to shine a light on. And if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.